Ooh-wee. It's a full moon morning and look at this. No wind. Welcome to the Unknown Angler. Today we're going to take a trip out to Rodriguez Key. My wife and I were walking and we found a little parking spot for kayaks to get out to Point Charles. And when I looked on the map, I saw Rodriguez Key and I thought, that looks like it's a good destination to try to get to. It is about a mile and a quarter offshore. So you need to plan the trip and you need to plan it well. But I'm going to go out, I'm going to circumnavigate the key, and then come back in and do a little fishing along the way. Enjoy. Anyway, good morning. Beautiful day. Look at this. There's this nice mangrove alley right here. Basically, you take about a mile-long trip through the mangroves, and that'll take you out to the ocean down here. And once I get to the ocean, it's another mile and a quarter, almost straight offshore to Rodriguez Key. And that's where I'm going this morning. I'm going out to Rodriguez Key. And I come around the corner and sure enough, there's a little bit of a breeze. It's not too bad. Oh, by the way, if you are going to try to do this, the gentleman that lives in this house right here is named Jamie. He's a kayak guide down here. I talked with him the other day. I was just walking down the street. He asked me to come up onto his steps there and take a look out on the water. Great guy, really nice. Knows this area like you wouldn't believe. So he told me that 2 hours before and 2 hours after the high tide is really the only time you can get out onto the open ocean on this side. Other than that, it gets really, as he calls it, sketchy. So, you know, that's the information I have. That's the information I'm going with. I am going to be approximately 2 hours before the high is right straight that way. Just staying to the we'd call it river right, staying to the right down here along the mangrove trees will get you out towards the ocean. Look how beautiful this is back here. You know, it's days like this where who cares if you catch anything? Well, I do. And there you go. There's the open ocean out there. You can see it, the break. So it's not hard to find if you stay along the right-hand shoreline of these mangroves. You'll be able to get to the ocean pretty quickly. Now I'm in, so I'm paddling against the current. You know, I hadn't really factored that in, but it's not a real problem. And this is like I said, we're about 2 hours before high, so this is the biggest part of the flood tide. So if this is the most current you're going to get in here, which it probably is. Anyway, so I'm finishing up. I think I'm just about to come out into open ocean, unless I'm completely wrong, which I could be. I believe this is Point Charles over to my left. I'm not sure whether this is actually Point Charles here or whether that's Point Charles out there. So the good news is I was correct. That is Point Charles. And I started off across the flat over this way. I put her into hyperdrive. I'm sitting down now with the kayak paddle. And that's Rodriguez Key out there. It looks like it's a long ways away, about a mile and a quarter. It's not too bad. The good news is, and that's why you don't want to be in the channel. I just crossed it and that guy comes along and he's obviously in a rush. Now, one other thing I wanted to point out, it's a beautiful clear, now I'm in open ocean right now. This is the Florida Keys. That key is a mile and a quarter offshore. I'm probably a third of the way there right now. But it's still only 4 feet of water in here. Literally, I could stand up. I mean, Okay, I'm about halfway across. The reason I turned the camera back on, I wanted to point out to everybody that you do go into the danger zone. I thought those channel markers went almost all the way out to the key. They do not. They go within a half a mile of the key. The reason is, on this side of the key right now, I'm probably, well, I can't tell how deep the water is. I can't see the bottom. But that's a good indication that it's deeper than probably 5 or 10 feet. Probably down into the 20, which means that the tide isn't going to affect your navigation in here at all, which means this is definitely an open boating zone. And right in the middle of the channel is a big old Portuguese man of war. Watch out for these little boys. You definitely don't want to be swimming around them. You can see it. That is a very active Portuguese man of war. It's a beauty. Look how deep those tentacles go. They went down about 4 feet. I thought this was a sailboat off to my left, but this is somebody that probably went out in something that they shouldn't have gone out in. That is a half-submerged yacht over there, and that's pretty recent. I'm getting some big boulders coming in here. Here's a little better look at it. Oh boy, that is not good. You don't like to see something like that when you just paddled a mile to get out to a key that you want to fish. That's a big boat, and it did not make it. So I've reached the point, and I'm about to round it in a second and see if the trip was worthwhile. That's Rodriguez Key on the leeward side. That'd be the west side this morning. I'm going to go over to the east side. If you go straight out that way, probably 90 miles. The next island is, I think, Cuba. Oh, I'm excited. I know. I'm easy. Here we go, going around the point. I decided to stand up and paddle it like a paddleboard to commemorate the fact that I actually got out here. Okay, it's time for a disclaimer. Look, just because you're watching this video, I took a long time preparing to come out here. It was a week's worth of process going on. I waited for the exact right day. I checked the winds, I checked the tides, I checked the temperatures, I checked how much, whether we'd get any rain, whether it'd be sunny. I picked the perfect day to come out. And it is not a bad paddle. I won't kid you. For me, it wasn't a bad paddle out here. It's about 2¼ miles to the point here from where I put in. However, it could turn south on you really fast. It is open ocean back there, and it's definitely open ocean out there. So a lot of things can go wrong. Look at this beautiful day I got. I picked the day exactly for this. This is not something you want to do with your family unless you know exactly what you're doing and you've been doing this for a long time. If you haven't figured it out, I've been doing this for a long time. I am way overconfident in my abilities at my ripe old age, but that's my problem, not yours. Make sure you plan this, make sure you plan it well, make sure you plan it when you have the right winds to get out and get back. This is a beautiful trip. I would highly advise it. I'm just loving what I'm seeing right now. It's just gorgeous. Look at this, it's beautiful. But take note, it is it's not without its perils to it. So here we go. This is always good signs of life on the reef when you have a bonnethead shark swim by. That's a little bonnethead right there. Nice little ray right here. This is good. This tells me that there's good life on the reef. So far we've seen a bonnethead and a ray. I don't know whether those were sea trout, specks as they call them around here, or I'm not sure what they were, but they were pretty decent sized fish just followed me in. Could have been snook, could have been cuda. More likely cuda than anything else, but they were decent size, so I'm anchoring up. See if I can get him to do it again. And this is the southernmost point. I've rounded it. I'm coming up on the west side of the key. The good news is, I mean, this is fantastic. Look at the flats in here. So it's a 2-foot tide today, so this is going to be out of the water at low tide, because there isn't much more than 2 feet of water back here. I'm seeing a few small fish. So I'm cruising along the flat here, and this is the kind of thing you see right here. Big old stingray. Oh, something just broke up there. Here's something you don't see every day. That is a nurse shark. I think he thinks he's hiding. He's sleeping, I think, underneath a this guy right down here, under a piece of metal. Big old nurse shark. But right now the black tip got my attention because he's about 6 feet long. He's about as big as me, which isn't huge for a black tip, but like I said, got my attention. There he is. He's on the inside. He's coming back this way. Here he comes. Coming right over towards me. Maybe that's a lemon shark. That's a lemon. Not quite as big as I thought either. He's probably only about 5 feet long. So, no problem. This is very typical of the west side of the key. It's a lot shallower than the east side of the key. When I looked on the topo maps, I thought the east side, the outside, the Atlantic side of this key was a lot shallower. I thought there was a big sand flat out there. There isn't. Or if there was, it was out further than I went out. And there's a lot of life back here. There's just a lot of life all over the place. This is well worth the trip. And it's definitely at a different tide. I might be doing a lot better. Well, that's it. I circumnavigated the island. I went completely around it. The wind's starting to kick up a little bit now. I've done what I came out here to do. It was an exploratory run out here. Cast a little bit. I hooked up once. I think it was a cuda. It was an okay fish. I'm going to fish on the inside a little bit, maybe up around the mangroves. But even though the wind's not supposed to come up too much, it's still over a mile back to shore, and depending on what I see as I come up to the point, so we're starting to get a little bit of a chop. Not much, very, very little, but I prefer to have a good day and head back in when the heading back in is good. Okay, so just to let you know, I was a little confused when I came back because I was looking at those buildings down there, these buildings when I came out, and I'm looking right here. That's the point. That's Point Charles right there. These are the condos or whatever they are on the other side of Point Charles, and right straight ahead of me where that well, you can't see the red buoys, where the channel markers are, that's where I came out, right there. So I'm heading that way. So I made it back across, and I decided to stay out for a little bit longer. Sure I did, because this flat is right on Point Charles. There's Rodriguez Key out there, and this is a flat that basically comes from, well, it comes from the building complexes up here all the way down to the end of Port Charles, which is just, this is one of the nicest flats I've seen down here. And the nice part is it's easy enough to get to, but it's not real easy to get to. So it's worth a day's outing to just go around this flat. Beautiful stuff. I'm sure in May and June, when there's bones and stuff, I'm sure they're all over this thing. And this is what it looks like when you come back inside. Yeah. That pink house is a big giveaway. You can see that actually out on about halfway back. You can see that pink house. So that's a good thing to pick up on. Parking spot. So this is the end of the trip. Thanks for joining me. It was a great time out there. Wish I'd caught something, but who cares? It was a good exploratory run. Hopefully I'll be able to get out there again. Till next time, see ya.